Gonna push some buttons this time. You know what time it is. It's that time again. It's that time again. It's that time again for the PerTspective. Welcome, 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 welcome everyone to the PerTspective. And I'm your host, Pertis Williams. Again, Gob, Smack, Visual Media. We up in here. Jackson, Mississippi. Give us a call if you need any visual media, podcasts, commercials, anything like that. Give us a call. We'll be happy to help you guys out. The number will be scrolling across the bottom of the screen later on in the show. So make sure you reach out for that. Hey, guess what? Today, before we do the results of the audit, here on the PerTspective, I like to take a pause and do a little something different this time. And we're going to read the plans from Project Humanity. You know me, Project Humanity, saving the world guy, that one right there. So we're going to take the time today and we're going to go over the plans, because it dawned on me just a moment ago as I was about to do something else that I may read these plans all the time. I may have to repeat myself quite a bit dealing with the plans, but you guys have never heard them. A lot of you have not taken the time to read them. It's a lot of words, and I understand. So we're going to take some time to do that today. You don't have to read. I got you. So we're going to skip over the beginning, the part that hurts everybody's feelings, when I tell you how children are God's honest little advisors. They're honest and they kind of tell you, the truth, unlike adults who constantly lie. Sometimes we, as adults, not me, you guys, try and tell those little lies trying to protect somebody. And I understand that. I truly do. I don't do it, but I understand it. Sometimes you need to hurt somebody's feelings or take off running if you don't want to tell them. But don't lie to them. So we're going to skip over that part, and we're going to definitely tell you this part of the beginning where it's all about God, people. It's all about the Creator. I don't really care what you choose to pray to, as long as it makes you a better person. That's it. If it makes you a better person, I'm all for it. Now, if it has you being a worser person, then that can't be a divine spirit, in my opinion. If you're a worser person. Now, I do believe there is a time and a place for everything. So don't get it twisted. There's a time and a place for everything. And that's why we're approaching one of those times right now with the return of Pluto that no one seemed to get right again. You missed the 11/11, thinking that's a great awakening. It is not. It is a disorder and judgment. But this is just for clips and the lip service that I'm going to give you today, because I know ain't nobody really, you got to really be, you got to really know some stuff to try and keep up with me on some of the stuff I'm talking about. But we're going to bring it on down to simple, because that's what we need to be. So in an effort to, how do you say, bring it down to lay terms. Bring it down to lay terms. As Eddie Murphy would call it, rich dummy terms. So rich dummy terms. Here we go. So we got a change in the schools. That's the plan outline. Okay. Plan outline. We got a change in the schools. We're going to be moving all the PTA meetings to Fridays at 7:00 p.m. Now, the reason we want to do that is we want to give all the parents an opportunity to get off work, go home, make sure everybody's good, maybe feed the kids, and then come on to the PTA meeting. Also gives the teacher a chance to go home and relax a little bit after classes, maybe take a shower, and come back refreshed to deal with the parents. So you want to make that one of those things where we make it easier for parents to be a part of the child's life. Not only are we moving the PTAs to Friday at 7, we also want to make sure that the accountability for those meetings is it's not falling on one parent. So if a child has two living parents, then it is required for both of them to show up to those meetings. There will be exceptions, however, if a parent is out of town, out of state, then of course we'll allow Zoom calls. But the parents will need to make 6 of the 12 scheduled meetings per year. That is going to be required. So that is a requirement for those persons who have children. You need to be parents. They're yours. Accountability experts. Accountability experts. All right, the youth will be our accountability experts, learning early the value of honesty, love in our society. Our teachers will guide them with the understanding of what is considered appropriate behavior. They will also teach them concerning the principles of do unto others as you would have them do unto you. Now, a lot of people don't really understand that fully. You hear a lot of people saying, do unto others as you do to them, as they do you. Couldn't be more wrong. I'm not even sure who told y'all that, but I know we like to repeat wrong a lot. So it's do unto others as you would have them do unto you. So, for instance, if you're on the side of the road and you have a flat tire, you would want someone to stop and help, right? So if you see someone on the side of the road, try and offer help. That's what that means. So I'm not saying that in today's world we're able to do everything, exactly how we want to. Because stopping today to help someone can end up being a bad idea. Recently, I heard that someone stopped to help someone and they were murdered. So that corrupt world we live in has created a lot of problems when it comes to some of these things that we're going to try and progress back into a civilization that makes a little bit more sense. Kind of back in the days when you could leave your door open at night, go to sleep, and not have to worry about somebody coming in and strangling the shit out you. All right, so the youth will also have a very clear understanding pertaining to the reports and the consequences that follow any report that they would turn in, because the students are going to be reporting to the parent, to the app we're creating, right? We got an app we're creating. So the students are going to be reporting to that app saying, hey, dad couldn't make it or mom couldn't make it to the meeting because XYZ. Now, it's telling the truth, basically, instead of the parents doing it, saying, I had to work. Well, she might have been on the couch. He might have been on the couch watching TV and just decided not to come. Well, the kids are going to tell it. And we're going to deal with it. Because it's about treatment. It's not about punishing a parent for not being there or doing the right thing. It's about treatment. It's about trying to find the best ways to become that village that raises the family again. And that's what we have to get back to, is respecting that village is a necessity. It's not something that we just, I assume I want it. No, it's a necessity, and we need to get back to it. All right, the youth. Because we want the youth to participate, our reports before sent will read, how you had those little bitty warnings before you send a report. So we'll have a report little flash up like, you sure you want to send this report? And it'll say something like, we have a treatment first design. Incarceration will be viewed as a last resort measure, so that the kids will know, hey, we want you to be honest. We want you to tell it. But again, we're not trying to arrest your parents, not trying to put them in jail. If they need any help, we're offering it to them. And that's going to be a little bit down further where we discuss the mental health side of the program. All right, so because we want the youth, we just read that. All right, the youth will also receive payments for helping train our elders or our seniors or our more seasoned individuals. They'll be getting paid to help train them on the accountability monitoring system. So the youth will be able to make some money while we're training people to use the app, basically, because we want to use the our more experienced persons for the monitoring of the system, and I'll explain why as we go down further on this list. Alrighty. False reports will be considered slander and carry consequences not to exceed punishment the accused perpetrator would have received. All persons who seek help, confess, or report themselves will receive reduced consequences. Now, so we're looking at this from a mental health standpoint, mental health treatment kind of standpoint. So we're going to try and get the kids to tell us what's going on at the house. How's mom and dad doing? Is there any problems you see? Let us know. Then we can send someone to help and find out how can we assist in order to make your life better so that the kids have a better life, so that the future is better. So that's what it's about. It's about us, like I said, turning back into the village that we somehow got away from. And we're going to discuss that tomorrow on a whole nother show. I might not discuss it tomorrow on another show because we were talking about someone else is coming in tomorrow for a problem. And I think I'm going to kind of get out the way and let them guys handle that because from what I'm understanding, it's a serious issue and it needs to be addressed. Not funny like I would do. You know, I'm more comedy until it hurts. All right, so elders and technology. And again, shout out to Comcast. Shout out to the Beam Path. I saw you guys implementing some of these things and trying to get them working. I'm going to reach out to you both to see if I can offer any assistance and help that that process move a little bit faster. All right, elders and technology. Our elders will monitor the reports received from our accountability experts. The elders are aware of what society should work on, grow up from, or learn not to do anymore. They have the experience to honestly address any reports received from our accountability experts. So our seniors will also receive tax-free payments for the work they perform with the monitoring system. So that puts them back in the workforce and that puts some money back in their pockets. Our elders now participate in technology age will begin to grow in new exciting ways. A lot of people don't know, but when you kind of start repeating the same thing every day, your brain stops growing, neural pathways stop connecting, and we slowly start to pass away. So we're going to start bringing those guys back to life, so to speak. We're going to have a revival of our elders, put them back into the workforce. A lot of them want to be back in the workforce. A lot of them want to participate. A lot of them know how important it is for those interactions with other people. So seeing them get back out and participating in the growth of America, or growth of the world, rather, is going to be really exciting to see. So I'm looking forward to getting back involved in that. So, our seniors now working with our youth will also share their experiences and moral values, which is the big deal part. Their moral values as those two groups learn together. So you have the youth teaching our seniors more about technology, and you have our seniors teaching our youth more about life, morals, and being a lot more respectable individuals as they grow up. And that's something we need a lot more on. And this new relation will create a connection and begin facilitating the moral growth needed in society. And that couldn't be more true. Now, here's next step. The accepting help from outside. Mental health. That's what we address, mental health. Now, this is, I think, kind of the most important part for me because it addresses the bigger picture problem that I've found to be something how do you say, you know how you have a memory and you only remember the bad things? Well, this memory is so bad we blocked it out. So mental health is extremely important to me because I know we blocked that out. And we're going to talk about that on the Mental Health Show with Warner on the Meal on Saturdays. Like I said, this Saturday we have something else planned, but next Saturday or after, we're definitely going to be touching base on the crack years and how they affected all communities, not just one. All communities were affected by the crack years. We like to point the finger in one direction. That's because we're selfish and stupid and want all the attention on us. We want to help. Baby, 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 get to me. But there's a whole world of people that were affected by that, and you just don't know. So accepting help from outside in the mental health situation category. Many segments of our society have been misinformed about the benefits of counseling, therapy, or treatment, and our children are suffering. We must begin to understand that help does not always have the same color as we do. Our children have asked for help, and the help we need comes from unity, people. Free online group and solo counseling available to everyone in the state. Now, this plan was originally written for Mississippi. However, it has been expanded. I have not actually released the expansion, but pretty much just take Mississippi out and put another state's name in. It pretty much works the same in every state. So, and the reason for that expansion, you're about to hear it now, coming up in how the website will be developed. And it's the app too, so you'll understand a little bit more about how that is developed. So free online group and solo counseling available to everyone in the state. From addiction specialists to an emergency breakout room for all 911 type of situations. And the space will be available from 7 a.m. to 11 p.m. After hours, please dial 911. Again, we're going to try to expand that to 24 hours a day. I think that's probably better, is to have it a 24-hour a day line. However, I do want to make sure that our counselors and therapists have the right amount of rest and sleep. And I think once we get to that 11 o'clock hour, a lot of those people who are suffering probably are having issues with drugs or alcohol also. And that's why I'm suggesting that anything after 11 would go to law enforcement. And hopefully we'll be able to have some counselors overnight working so that they can assist our law enforcement also. So every group counseling session will be directed to another state. When logging into a session, example, a person in Jackson, Mississippi will enter a session in Tacoma, Washington. Privacy and block areas settings will also be available to protect users' identity. All right, so say for instance you have a serious issue right now. You wanna go into counseling. All right, so when you log in, you're gonna be directed to another state, depending on what you suggest. Like you can do your counseling in Mississippi, you can do it in Georgia, you can do it in the state you live. However, if you're going in and you don't want to know anybody in the room, you don't want anybody to know you, then that option will be available too. So you can go in and speak your mind and nobody in this room really knows you. So that process will be available too. So those online group therapy sessions will be available. Now, when we have a session to say a one-on-one or a couples counseling session, now those sessions will be private. Like I said, those breakout rooms will be for that. I prefer myself the group therapy, kind of like more minds, more ideas. That suits me. I like that one. I do personal also, and definitely, truly believe that we all should do couples counseling. Definitely. It's like Werner always tells me, we were raised differently, different house, different cities a lot of times. So we really don't know what to expect from another person. They don't know what to expect from us. So it's better to have that therapy or counselor present so that we can walk through those things, stop running from each other. So funding for the above selections or sections comes from us investing back in us. I know everybody's always talking about where's the money coming from. Well, I had to put that in there too, because, that's the only thing y'all seem to give a care about is where's the money coming from. Well, the money is investable back into the community from the community. And here's how we do that. Working with small businesses, Project Next Dream and Project Gifted. These are two projects that are inside of this project. So the way they work, trust is they work with trust. Basically, we're going to have to trust each other. So online, this portion of the progress. Trust outlines this portion of the progress. Hadn't read this in a couple of years, I see. Trust outlines this portion of the progress of the process. If we're going to move forward with love, we must begin to show trust. Business partners used to accelerate growth and development in specific areas. Example, a person with a great business idea partners with a person with not only investable capital, but also experience in that particular arena. With the experience of opening a similar business, they will form a partnership to move things faster. So the partnership will bring to the targeted areas. So we're talking the targeted areas being the areas that are crumbling in the inner cities, some in the I don't know what do we call those, rural areas. We have dilapidating houses, stores leaving, but we still have people there, and we need to take care of the people who are there. And this is one of the ways to do that is bring those communities together to start to facilitate the change by working to clean up their own communities. We're hiring them to do the work in their own community. So it builds pride, a sense of pride, not the bad pride, but a sense of happy pride. And you're happy about, what you accomplished. So we're looking forward to that. New businesses. Okay, so the partnership will bring to the targeted areas new businesses, but also clean, more orderly establishments. Here's the part where we say honesty is part of what we do. The targeted areas are not being respected by the people living in those areas. And you know what I mean. I've been surveying these areas, and as you drive through, you see people throwing paper out the windows. You see bottles all up and down the side of the street. They didn't get there by themselves. Somebody put them out there. So when you go out to the areas that are newer and nicer, you don't see that. Why not? Because you're scared to throw it out. You don't want to throw it out in a nicer area, but in an area that looks bad, you don't have a problem doing it. So let's clean up those areas, make them look good so people will not throw the trash out. How about that? Clean it up, make it look nice, nobody throw trash out. Makes sense to me. I think everybody needs sidewalks. Let's go back into the inner city and put some sidewalks and some curbs up, just like we put out in the newer established areas. That wasn't a thing early on when these older communities were being built. So we need to go back in and update them. So let's go update. So those areas that are not really being taken care of, we're gonna definitely start focusing on them. We don't need to go out and cut down any more trees and move out further into nature and try and let's build a new warehouse way out here in the middle of nowhere, and that'll create 10,000 jobs in the middle of nowhere. So people are going to move out here to the middle of nowhere where nobody wants to stay just to have a job. That's a serious sacrifice. When we have all of these areas and cities that are already developed, power lines are there, trees are already cut down, unfortunately. Concrete is already there. Water lines are already there. That's what we need to be rebuilding. We don't need to keep infringing on nature, trying to cut down more and more trees. You need to stop. That's where the global warming is coming from. Cut down the trees, planet gets hotter. It's not really hard to figure that part out. Not sure why you hadn't done it yet. Well, how we stop global warming? Quit cutting down damn trees. That's all you got to do. How we cut the CO2? Quit cutting down the fucking trees. That's how you do it. What are we going to do about the emissions? Quit cutting down the damn trees, you imbeciles. But we're going to keep on going on the plan because, let's not get off track. All right. Our hiring for these projects, for all these new projects will be done from the closest available candidate standpoint. This will make getting to work easier while also keeping revenue in the area. Persons living close to work locations will be hired first. So what this means is, say we're going to put a construction team out on, say, the West Highway 80, and we're going to come all the way down Highway 80 and redo the entire highway through Mississippi, right? So what we want to do with that project is, in every city or town that we go through, the persons, so our construction starts, say, in Vicksburg. So we want a Vicksburg team working on that construction. When we get to, say, Morton, Mississippi, we want a Morton team working on that construction. We don't want a team coming all the way from Vicksburg, going an hour and a half, 2 hours to Morton, because we got the contract to redo the highway. And we're going to keep all the money to ourselves and do the whole highway and not share. So that's why I have it to where each construction location, we want to have people in those areas working on those locations. That's where you get the sense of pride and where you tell your kids, man, your granddaddy did that highway. Grandma helped us out here finish this 20 miles through Jackson of the highway. So that's where we keep that money also in that community. So while those people are working on their community, they're also making money in their community and keeping it in that community. We're remodeling and rebuilding and we're growing. So each one of these businesses will be partnerships. We'll also invest in the next dream, next location in the same area. Rebuilding an area, building by building. So what that means is the building, say I have a good idea and someone wants to invest with me in getting my restaurant open. So that investor, we get the restaurant open, we ready to go, we got it looking good, and it's jamming. All right, so the person who's next in the, say, lottery of investments that we're doing in these communities says that they want to start, let's say, a beauty salon or sell homemade creams and body lotions. So they want the location next to my restaurant. So my restaurant and my business partner, we're going to invest in that location being rebuilt, remodeled, and put into a functional state, just like we are. Because if we look good and they look good, then that's how the people are going to come to that area, because we like areas that look good. So we're going to keep going down and down and down the street until we remodel the whole area. And we're going to do that in all areas because we have a lot of people. We need more housing. So why aren't we creating situations where we can develop that housing without hurting nature further? It makes sense to me, and I'm sure your children will appreciate you caring enough for it to make sense to you, because they're the ones who are going to have to clean up this mess that we're creating in the very near future. So each one of those business partnerships will invest in the next dream, next location, same area. Businesses that are already established and desire to move or expand from the targeted area to non-targeted locations will also share in this expansion of growth. Many of the same reasons for the partnership, like experience, orderly, and connections. So say we have a already established business that's, just on this side of the tracks, say, so to speak, but no one knows about it anywhere else. Great food, just limited because of how we've chosen to divide ourselves. So say that person says, I want to put a new location out here. Same thing applies. There's one difference. We're going to have the same investor strategy. We're going to have the same cleaning up initiative. We're going to have the same investment next door. The only difference in those two plans is if you're in an established business already and you want to expand, then this next part doesn't apply to you. But if you're a person with a new idea and you want to create a business and you get a partner who has a business already, then this next part will apply to you. So project gifted. So this part of the project is where we gift the business to the individual who had the original idea. Now, they don't have to do this because, again, we're creating partnerships that could last forever. However, there is that clause for the project gifted that will be there to gift these businesses to those persons once they've been up and running for a while and the investments have been paid back. So our partnerships will last for no more than 10 years, or when both parties have satisfied the terms of the agreement. Terms vary based on situation. At the end of the agreement, the property will be gifted to the owner in the targeted area. Non-targeted area businesses will not be subject to the terms under the Project Gifted program. So if you had that business already established in the community and you wanted to expand to the other side of the tracks, that's different. You don't go over there to that new business with the partnership and get to keep it after the 10 years. Y'all still partners. Now, the person who has the idea and we bring the partner in to get them going, now that partner comes in, helps them run the business. It's a humanitarian type thing for 10 years to get them up and running. They fulfill the contract terms, and hopefully within that 10 years, they've learned to run that business themselves. So it will be gifted to them. Now, again, they don't have to end the partnership. It's just going to be one of the things that allows the community to have that comfort of knowing we're not losing everything by bringing in these partnerships. That makes sense. So trying to add a level of comfort to every situation also with the plans. So next part. And again, I'm reading these to you guys because I know you hadn't read them. And it's the only way to actually get this out to you. So I'm just taking the time to go over it. Hopefully y'all will watch this. Have any questions, comments, problems, give me a call. Holler at me. Send me a message. All right, local Mississippi banks. And again, this is just the first draft for Mississippi. Put your state name here. I'm going to put that in there, though. Add state name here. All right, so the local banks will handle any loans for the projects related to the partnerships in the Project Next Dream Project Gifted program. Loan size may require outside assistance from national banks. So, of course, that's already wrote in there. All right, so next initiative, we want to increase first responder salaries. Now, I have seen some raises going up lately. That's fantastic. Still don't think we're moving the needle fast enough. Although I do understand the reason for the pace I think if we explain it to the people better, they'll understand the pace. So let's get through this, and then I'll try to explain that pacing thing. So everyone will be required to send or just have deducted from some type of payment plan, or set up some type of automatic payment. But we're going to give $3 a month to the First Responders Appreciation Fund. Fixed income persons are exempt from that. Accountability experts will determine the proper distribution of the funds between first responder sections. So we're going to let the kids, the young people, determine which areas we split this money up and send it to. The reason I put the children in charge of that is because I've seen what you guys do with money, and nothing is fair and equal and balanced about it. Greedy Didi, evil Knievels. So we're going to take that out of your hands, and actually to alleviate some of your headache and stress, because it takes a lot of energy to figure out how to screw people over. So I don't want you to have all that stress. So we'll let the children do it fairly, and you can just go sit down somewhere and relax. All right, so C-Spire Initiative. Now, I chose C-Spire because, again, this was originally written for Mississippi, and C-Spire is a company that, if I'm not mistaken, was started here in Mississippi, home-based. So we're going to request to support our plans and provide the wireless internet service needed for the online services needed for the mental health initiative. Now, I've seen Comcast kind of jumping in here too, fighting it out. Why don't we all get together? Comcast, AT&T, T-Mobiles, C-Spires. Why don't we all get together? This is a big deal, and we need this internet service to make it all across the country so that we can start to help these people out. So I'd appreciate if you guys could quit trying to be number one and be a part of. How about that? So C-Spire Initiative, we're going to get that request for the internet services for the person so they can use the online therapy. We also want to see if we can get Amazon and Walmart, Walmart and Amazon especially, we know you guys are the big guys, to donate or lost cause Chromebooks for the low-income persons who need assistance with a device for the online counseling, for the free online counseling. So we're going to ask you guys to help out with those. We know you have returns that you can't sell sometimes. So we just need something that we can connect the people with decent speed so that they can do the therapy online. It's going to be real important, as we all know. Now, we call this a Preparing for Investment Opportunity Initiative. Now, the reason I call it a Preparing for Investment is because we know that the education system in America has failed us. That's kind of the end. So we're going to close this out. The education system in America has pretty much failed us. We know that. Most of the things that I learned, I promise you, did not happen until after school. Mind you, I did learn a lot in school. I had some excellent teachers coming up. They really, really, really stressed education for us. They really, really, really made it a big deal. And I'm very blessed to have had that type of teaching coming up. I know that that's less likely the case today, especially since they allowed Ebonics since I graduated. They allowed No Child Left Behind. Grade curves started happening. All these things took place after I graduated. I knew nothing about them when I was in school. We probably would have had a lot less 20-year-olds in 11th grade had they decided to not leave any child behind. But we had some gray hairs up in school when we were coming up because they would leave you behind. So the preparing part is we have to get mentally ready for what's coming in the future. I'm sure everybody knows about the AI. Everybody's talking about it. I personally need to take some time off to start studying it. Really. It's a lot that AI can assist you with. And this is kind of that moment where we're finna have here's the internet, here's the computers, and none of our parents studied. So now we have to do their online work for them. We have to make sure their bills are paid because they didn't think the computer and the internet was a big deal. So I think AI is pretty much going to be that same way. We need to treat it like a big deal so that when we get a little bit older, we're not sitting here like, I don't know how to turn on this and I don't know how to turn that on. How do you program the remotes or talk to the TV? So we have to, excuse me, go ahead and start preparing for that. We had a couple of things I do want to talk about now. So this is where we're going to get off of the plans. No, I have to finish the plans. Preparing for investment is because we're not ready, people. We're not. We got a lot of stuff to deal with. Technology is changing so fast that we have, we got to keep up. What am I doing? Excuse me. We got to try to keep up. And right now, we're really equipped for certain kinds of jobs. We're only trained to do certain type of jobs. And we want to try and start advancing past just the repetitive job where you're doing the same thing over and over again all day, every day, all day, same thing over and over. That's not the way to happiness. It may be for some people. They don't want to do a lot of stuff. They don't want to do a lot of thinking. They just want to do something simple. That's fine. But for the majority of humanity, we desire growth. We desire development. We desire expansion. So mentally, we need to use that brain and work on figuring things out, solving things, fixing, and creating. So we want to definitely change how we go into the workforce in the next few years. We want to try and, take some time to train the people to think they're empathetic to one another. We'll be able to bring companies in, not just creating construction jobs, so that we build a factory that's going to house data and there be 15 people working in the whole facility because it's mostly AI operated. No, I'm talking about bringing jobs here that are like Intel chip making, where there are some details that need to be done by humans and the robots, of course, but we have to figure some things out, some new designs, templates. Like AI can only learn what we teach it or from prior experience, so they say. But it will, I believe, get to the point where it's creating new and exciting things. I think it may already be there. We just don't know it. So those are some of the things that I think we have to start working on, and that's why I call it the Preparing for Investment Initiative. Is because we're not ready now, and we need to accept that we're not ready and start working on getting ready. So that's the plans. They're pretty simple. It sounds simple. The thing about simple is it works. You don't need a complicated plan to change this world for the better. You don't need a lot of details. You just need to get started with the right things. So this is the right thing to get started with. And once we start moving down that road, everything else will kind of flow into place. So now we're going to take a small little shorty chill moment, and we finna get into some politicking. Let's get into some politicking, people. Let's get into some politicking, people. Yeah, let's get into some politicking. Let's talk about Jackson, Mississippi for a second. Now, my perspective on this, we have a lake that if you look at the history of it, it tells you the lake was closed in the 60s because they also closed the swimming pools and everything, they didn't want black folks dirtying up the water. It says that. You know, the dirtying up part, that's just me. It says it in the history. It says it. Now, why is the lake closed now? Well, because just like the cigarette companies hired some doctors to tell you that the cigarettes were healthy, well, these politicians are telling people that the lake is poisonous. Somehow it got poisonous after the black people started swimming in it, clearly, because it wasn't poisonous water when the yacht club was there. And it was nothing but white people swimming. So obviously the black people got, you know, we dirty because we dark skinned, came in and dirtied the water up, and somehow the lake is now closed and needs to be shut down. Now, if I pay a doctor to say cigarettes are healthy, do you think I can pay a scientist to tell you that this water is dirty? Now, who is the water dirty for? Clearly, it wasn't dirty for the alligators that were living over there. Clearly, it wasn't dirty for all the birds I see flying that are looking for their water hole, you know, pelicans and stuff. Geese, I'm saying, they like, where's the water? Surely the water wasn't poisonous for the fish. You know, the deers, I heard some deer were over there. Water wasn't poisonous for the deer and the alligator, the fish, and the birds, just the people. And I mean just the dark-skinned people, because it was not poisonous for the light-skinned people who were there. So when I say your city officials who you voted for, who we trusted for all these years, sold us out, I mean that in so many strange, terrible ways, because that one right there says we don't want to help the people in the community because that lake, let me just tell you something. What I read, they said that the energy was paying them, what, $250,000 a year for the use of the lake? A year? Them must have been some 1960 prices that were never renegotiated ever by our city officials. They never renegotiated that contract ever, which again shows that they are damn geniuses. But again, $250,000 a year. Do you know how much money that lake would generate a year if it were open? Let's just say Northside Drive was filled with stores, shopping, food, restaurants. Adult entertainment, not adult. I mean adult restaurants and clubs. That's what I mean by adult entertainment. I don't mean strip clubs. I mean bars and restaurants. We could have amusement parks. We got land over there on the other side where you can have like a water park. You know what? I'm really just hoping I'm wrong, and the development that's taking place over there is redoing the lake. Redoing the lake. That's what they doing. They redoing it. And they finna fix it back up and bring those property values up in this community. And they're gonna put a water park over there. That's where Top Golf should have been. By the lake. You know, so when I say the planning committee, how many acres was that they said over there? 6? You know, when I say the planning committee for this city has to be the most corrupt group of individuals, or they just don't have any plans other than for themselves. Because for some reason, the preachers and the politicians and their friends seem to get rich in a city where the white man keeps holding them down and telling them no. So you tell me, how did that happen? How did the politicians, preachers, and their business associates get rich if the white man is telling them no all the time? Is he telling them no, don't help us? Or he's telling them no, don't help nobody? But you're getting helped. You're getting contracts. You're getting money. Churches got land. Politicians got land. But the people in the community suffering. Now, this is on both sides of the track now. Don't forget, I posted a video earlier today where some guys out in Virginia were talking about how the governor owns the mines around the area. And the mines poisoning the water for the local people. So it's not a color thing, people, unless you're talking about green. These people don't care about you. And here's the thing. They don't even see that what they're doing is going to affect them real soon. Not just in the fact that we're going to cut them all off and fire their asses and quit fucking with them. Not just that way. I'm talking about they don't see that it's going to start affecting them. Health-wise, you cannot do what you're doing and don't see it start to affect you. The planet is alive, just like they just recently learned that flowers could talk to the flower beside it. Damn, y'all slow. But again, y'all just figured that out. Wow. Trees talk to each other. There's trees in Africa. I've known this for I don't know how many thousand damn years. But if the elephants start eating on one tree, the trees on down the line will change the flavor to bitter so that the elephants don't want any. Because they like, hey, there's some elephants out here, they eating us. And the tree will be like, let me put something out so the elephant will taste it and don't like it. Go look that up. You'll find out trees have always communicated with each other. And that's why it disturbs me so much when you start to cut down all these trees when you can do something else. You can recycle some of this trash you got and create building supplies. You can do that. There's ways around it. But again, I can't stop stupid from doing stupid stuff. Where was I? Cutting down. Oh, yeah, your politicians suck. We already know that. And y'all divided, like how many times we got to tell y'all finna go in here and vote again for your favorite friend because he got your color on and y'all don't think none of them are actors. They all actors, both sides, all colors. Can't you tell? Your kids can tell better than you can that these politicians that we've been voting for all these years are garbage. All right, so I heard a beep. That means I'm finna get up out of here. And what I want to say is, before I leave, guys, it's time for us to make some changes. It's time for us to choose differently. I saw a senator say that the other side is blocking health care for the poor, is blocking wage increases. This same senator drives a Lotus, millionaire, super big house, came in poor. But his colleagues on the opposite side of the aisle are the ones blocking progress. How long has he been in Washington? About 1,000 damn years. He's one of the oldest people up in there. So we keep listening to people talking about, it's the other side, it's the other side, it's the other side. Well, it doesn't seem to affect their pocket and their ability to make money. So people, we have to do better and vote their asses up out of there. We need term limits. Our teachers should make the same amount of money as our Congress representatives. So like if you in a state, whatever the governor make, that's what the teachers ought to be making. Yeah, I said it. That's what they ought to be making. Because somehow the politicians are getting rich and our teachers are losing their damn mind and dying in poverty. What the hell? Country is backwards ass. People, we got to do something about that. Well, I'm tired of rambling and rumbling, but hopefully we can pull some up out of there and clip this up. But I'm finna get on out of here. It's getting late. I got somewhere to go. We need some dinners. It's almost 8. What? I'm out. This is the PerTspective, gobsmacked visual studio, visual media. Gobsmacked visual media. Hey, I'm about to get up out of here. Thank you again for your time. Again, the first part is about the plan. Second, I'm trying my hardest. They all friends, people. They all friends. And when you find that out, it's really like shocking to you. You like, how could y'all do this? How could you sit here and tell us you on our side, and the whole time you the one doing us wrong? How do you sleep at night? Well, I think it's what the Bible says in Proverbs 31. Not the part that your preacher told you about the virtuous woman. You know, they skip the beginning and go all the way down to virtuous woman, Proverbs 31. The first part talks about your leaders should not be drinking. If they do, they will neglect the poor and forget their duties to you. So, you tell me, does it feel like they neglected you? Yet. We're going to see y'all next time. This PerTspective. I'm out. Bitcoin.